In a world that rarely stops talking, silence has become an increasingly rare commodity. Our lives are immersed in sound, emails pinging, conversations buzzing, and the ceaseless hum of traffic. But what about the internal noise? The relentless stream of thoughts, worries, and to-do lists that never seem to stop? This constant chatter, both external and internal, keeps us in a perpetual state of distraction. Yet amid this chaos, Buddhism offers a profound truth. Silence is not merely an absence of noise, it is a pathway to mindfulness, clarity, and an unshakable inner peace. Think about it. How often do you truly experience silence? Not just turning off the radio or stepping away from your phone, but real, meaningful silence, the kind where you can hear your own breath, feel the rhythm of your heartbeat, and be present in the moment. For many of us, this level of quiet feels almost alien. We're so accustomed to noise that silence can feel unsettling. Yet it is in this discomfort that growth begins. In Buddhism, silence is seen as a tool for transformation. It's not just about being quiet, it's about creating space to observe, to reflect, and to connect with the deeper truths of life. This practice, often called noble silence, invites us to refrain from unnecessary speech and to listen more deeply, both to the world around us and to the wisdom within. By embracing noble silence, we begin to cultivate mindfulness, clarity, and compassion. Let me share a story to illustrate the power of silence. A young monk once lived in a bustling monastery where the noise of daily chores, lessons, and rituals filled every corner. He felt restless, unable to find the peace he sought. Frustrated, he went to his master and said, "Master, I try to meditate, but my mind is always noisy. How can I find stillness?" The master smiled and gave him a simple task. Spend a week tending the lotus pond, speak to no one, and listen to the water. The monk obeyed, spending his days by the pond, watching the ripples form and fade, listening to the gentle lapping of water. At first, his thoughts screamed louder than ever, demanding his attention. But as the days passed, something shifted. The sounds of the water became clearer, the distractions faded, and a profound stillness settled within him. When he returned to the master, the monk said, "I understand now. The stillness was always there. I just needed to listen." The master nodded and replied, "Silence is not found in the absence of noise, but in the presence of awareness." This story captures the essence of silence in Buddhism. It's not about escaping the noise, but about learning to be present with it, to let it come and go without attachment. When we practice silence, we confront one of the most persistent barriers to inner peace, the ego. The ego thrives on noise, on expressing opinions, asserting itself, and seeking validation. But in silence, the ego has no outlet. We begin to see beyond our conditioned thoughts and identities, discovering a deeper, truer self. Silence also transforms how we connect with others. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, the act of listening becomes an extraordinary gift. By practicing silence, we learn to hear not just words, but the emotions, intentions, and energies behind them. This kind of deep listening fosters empathy and builds stronger, more authentic relationships. It reminds us that true communication often requires fewer words and more presence. Beyond relationships, silence is a teacher of impermanence. In the stillness, we observe the fleeting nature of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. Like clouds drifting across the sky, they arise and pass away. This awareness of impermanence, central to Buddhist philosophy, helps us develop equanimity, a calm acceptance of life's inevitable changes. Silence allows us to sit with uncertainty, to let go of the need to control, and to find peace in simply being. But silence isn't just an abstract spiritual practice, it's deeply practical. Studies have shown that moments of quiet reflection can reduce stress, improve focus, and enhance creativity. Leaders, artists, and innovators alike are turning to mindfulness and silent retreats to find clarity in their chaotic lives. In this way, silence becomes a superpower, a tool not just for inner peace but for thriving in a noisy, fast-paced world. Let's go deeper into the impact of silence. When we sit quietly, focusing on our breath, we begin to notice things we usually miss. The subtle tension in our shoulders, the patterns of our thoughts, the way emotions ripple through our bodies. This heightened awareness is the foundation of mindfulness. It allows us to respond to life with clarity and compassion rather than reacting out of habit. Consider the story of the Buddha himself. After years of rigorous study and intense asceticism, it wasn't through doing more that he achieved enlightenment. It was through sitting quietly beneath the Bodhi tree, observing the nature of his own mind. This act of silent observation revealed the truths that form the foundation of Buddhism, the impermanence of all things, the root causes of suffering, and the path to liberation. Silence also teaches us to value the present moment. In the rush to achieve, to speak, to be heard, we often miss the beauty of what's right in front of us, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the laughter of a loved one, the simple joy of being alive. Through silence, we learn to slow down, to save a life, and to find meaning in the ordinary. But perhaps the most profound gift of silence is the way it connects us with ourselves. In the absence of external distractions, we have the opportunity to meet our true selves, not the person defined by roles, achievements, or expectations, but the essence of who we are. This self-awareness is deeply liberating. It allows us to live authentically, guided by our own inner wisdom rather than the noise of the world. In the end, silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. Fullness of presence, awareness, and connection. It is the space where clarity emerges, where healing begins, and where we rediscover the essence of who we are. As we navigate the noise of modern life, let us remember the power of silence. Take a moment to step away from the distractions, to sit with yourself, and to listen. Because in silence, we don't lose ourselves, we find ourselves. And that perhaps is the greatest gift of all.